Hello and welcome to Endurance Minded. It's the podcast that aims to redefine what it means to reach our full potential by exploring how movement and mindset impacts our lives and how we can all work to show up as the best versions of ourselves. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas, founder at TEC. And before we kick this episode off, I have an all call for people in the health and wellness space that are ready to start their business or take their existing business to the next level. If you're a coach, a personal trainer, a dietitian, nutritionist, or anyone who has a passion for helping others reach their full potential, this is for you. The Growth Circle, TEC's Business Accelerator, focuses on three main areas to help you grow and scale a business. The first is revenue. TEC helps business owners accomplish their revenue goals in less time to build a sustainable, profitable, and scalable business. Next, we focus on client acquisition and retention. We provide you with the confidence, resources, and skills to attract and retain your ideal client. And last, and most importantly, we focus on community and collaboration. Building a profitable coaching business shouldn't be lonely. Build with a team of driven entrepreneurs just like you that will support and inspire you. If you're hungry to be a part of a community that delivers inspiration and mentorship, as well as flattens the learning curve to building your business, I want to invite you to apply today for the Growth Circle, TEC's Business Accelerator, and let us help you build a wildly profitable coaching business. Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Endurance Minded. Today's going to be a solo episode in between some amazing guests. Like I've said, this entire year, we have some incredible guests on the show lined up and really excited to continue to release those. But as always, I like to interject and include some of these solo episodes that give me the opportunity to expand on things that I'm hearing, conversations I'm having, questions that we're getting, feedback that we're getting from the enduranceminded.com website. And today is going to be one of those episodes. And we're going to talk about how you can stop waiting for the perfect time. And so I want you to listen to hear if any of this resonates with you. So the problem with waiting is that we think rather maybe it's, if it's in a business, if it's with our fitness goals, personal growth, really any major goal, so many of us can get stuck in waiting mode. And we will tell ourselves any number of different things. Listen to hear if any of these examples resonate with you. I'll start when I feel ready. I'm just not prepared right now. I'm not ready. The time's not right. I need to learn more before I can begin. So there's a bit of imposter syndrome in there. I need to prepare more. I need to learn more. I need to be smarter and better before I can do this thing, embark on this goal. Or the timing just isn't right. I'm too busy right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. It's not the season. And what I want you to hear is that the truth is that the perfect time doesn't exist. Waiting almost always doesn't lead to progress. It keeps us stuck. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about how do we break free and unravel this hesitation and rather step into consistent, bold action, no matter what our goal is, no matter whether we're working towards a milestone in our careers, a milestone in our fitness journey, a personal growth goal. How do we stop letting hesitation and stop letting the narratives that I just gave as examples keep us from progress and keep us in a place where we think that that narrative is actually the answer to how we make progress? And again, I want you to understand, I want you to hear that the truth is that there is no perfect time. You'll never feel ready. When you do the things required that you think are on the to-do list to get you ready, there'll be more things. There'll be more limiting beliefs that creep in. There'll be more tasks on your list. If you think this isn't the right season, well, the next season is just as busy. If you think you need to learn more, if you think it's always, always, always going to be something. Because that's the human condition. I've talked a lot about that on previous episodes, and that the limiting belief and kind of the internal dialogue and narrative is one that is part of our plight as humans. We have the curse of critical thought, and so there will always be things that seep in and try to hold us back. And so the truth is that the perfect time does not exist, and that forward movement is what creates progress. So we're going to talk about what that looks like today. As always, I want you to walk away with very actionable steps to undo this narrative, to actually make strides, start the progress, move in the direction of the thing that you want to do. And so let's get into it. Let's talk about why waiting holds you back. So again, this is not the common narrative, right? We're not doing these things. We don't tell ourselves these things because we think that we're trying to get out of something. We're doing it because we think it's actually the best idea, right? If I could just be more prepared, if I can have more time, we think that that's actually the right answer. So then we need to understand, why is waiting actually holding us back, right? Why is it not the right answer? Too many people, like I said, wait for, I'll use in quotes, the right time to start something meaningful in their lives. And I wanted to hit you with some real world statistics, because I like to back up what I'm saying with something that's actionable, right? Taylor can say it all that I want to, and it might not land. You might be like, yeah, well, that's all well and good, but so what? Harvard Business Review study found that perfectionism is a major cause of procrastination, which ultimately leads to higher stress and lower achievement. So this idea that we have to be better, we have to be more perfect, the season has to be perfect, the timing has to be right, is actually the major thing that's leading to us not taking action. And on top of that, it's creating an environment that is rife with stress, anxiety, and actually is not yielding the results that we want. It yields lower achievement. So it runs in opposition to what we say we actually want. And have you ever just looked back, right? I know that anyone listening to this has an example of when you've looked back and you've realized that you wasted months or years just waiting for the conditions to be just right, right? I know I've done this with any number of things in my life. I've done it with the business idea. I've done it with a goal that I had for fitness. This wasn't the season. I was too busy. I couldn't train. My body didn't feel right. Well, the fact of the matter is that when I decided to commit, when I decided to get going, well, what did I do? I made time for those things to actually right themselves. I made time to build the fitness. I made time to get my body in a place, in a position where I could embark on these big goals, these things that were really challenging. I created space in my schedule because I had made a commitment. Without a commitment, there was no real need for me to do that. And so, of course, it was easy to lean into the narrative and to fall back on the fact that, or the belief that I didn't have time. And so what I want you to understand is that I want you to know that progress doesn't come from waiting. It comes from taking action and adapting as you go. Of course, you're going to learn. Of course, you're probably not prepared. Great. If you're doing something meaningful, if you're embarking on a big new goal, you don't have those skills right now. And the time isn't right. And you probably don't know exactly what that's supposed to look like. So much of this is adapting and adjusting expectations to know that waiting's not the answer, but also taking action and adaptation as you continue to learn and grow is really what yields the results that you're looking for. So let's talk a little bit about some specifics here. Why do we wait? Why is it a trap? I gave you the Harvard Business Review study that said that perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. It's a really great way to convince ourselves that what we're doing is not just running away from the things that we're scared of, right? We're not running away. I'm trying to be more prepared. I'm trying to set myself up for success. We convince ourselves that we need to know more, be better, have everything in place before we start. But the truth is that most successful people learn by doing. You gain clarity through action, not just endless planning. Who have you known, who do you know that's successful, that spent all their time planning and not executing? Right? Execution is what moves us in the direction of the things we want. Right? If you're a business owner, if you're an athlete, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a high achiever, if you're someone who is in this audience that is part of our endurance-minded community, I know this resonates with you. And I know that you either are that person or know that person where you know for a fact that execution is what leads to success. If you're on the fence, if you're waiting for the right time, then you're not going to get any closer to your goal, and you're not going to gain any more clarity. Do you or don't you want to reach your goals? If the answer is yes, execution is the only thing that's going to take you in that direction. There's no more preparation that you need that's going to move you any closer to achieving your goals. Is it something you care about? Yes or no? The answer is yes. You got to move. You got to execute. That's it. And the people that reach their goals, the people that are successful, the people that have these benchmark experiences and do all these things that so many of us wish that we could do, they execute. And truthfully, what I've found is that the time to execution is really quick. So the people that accomplish those goals, the people that are doing the things that you want to do, that you feel like you're waiting for the right season, they've already made 20 decisions in the time it's taken you to think about making one. And I know that sounds harsh, but that is a fact. Movement creates momentum, right? Sitting and planning doesn't do anything. Not that you shouldn't have a plan, but execution is all that matters in the end. The other piece of this, just to continue to expand, is that opportunities don't wait, right? The job that you want, the business you want to build, the fitness goal, the life-changing decision, it's not going to wait for you to feel ready. The world keeps spinning. Again, people that are executing are moving forward. So if you don't step forward, someone else will, right? Someone else is going to keep doing what they want to do. They're going to commit to their goals. So I want you to think about athletes, right? When I talk a lot about athletic identity on this show, and they don't wait until they're in peak shape to start training, right? You start now and the results will follow. This is how the athletic progression works. If I have an event later this year, well, I don't wait till later this year until some magical stars align to start to prepare. I start now, and I know that the process builds on itself. I know that consistency compounds. I know that action is the only thing that's going to allow me to get to a place where eventually I'm confident. My goals for later this season are really outside of my reach right now. Good. I'm going to keep building. I'm not in the shape that I want to be to run the ultra marathons that I have on my calendar later this summer. I'll get there, but the work starts now. I don't have all the skills and tools I need to execute on my goals for my businesses later this year, but I'm building. I'm going to get there. I take action. I'm hiring the right people. I'm doing the right things. I'm having the right conversations. I'm getting in the right rooms. Again, progress is what leads you to where you want to go. So you don't have to wait till you're in peak shape. If you wait, you'll never get there. And then the third piece of this puzzle, again, the third piece of why we wait and why it's a trap, is that momentum, again, comes from action and not planning. And I really want to double down on this because it's something that so many people get stuck in. Is a great plan without execution is meaningless. All the whiteboard planning, all the journaling, all the manifesting, all the whatever, all the extra details you needed, the follow-up information, the emails you're asking for with more details, more, none of that matters if you don't execute. If you don't take that aggregate information, that planning, that dream, that vision, and actually create an execution strategy. And the longer you delay, the harder it is to start. The more excuses you come up with, the further away you get from that goal. Again, now is the time. So I want you to think about a past experience, something that you've been putting off. We all have it. There is something that you're putting off right now. And I want you to think about how much further would you be if you would have started a year ago? What would you have done? What could you have accomplished? If you just would have started, if you weren't still putting it off, if you weren't still thinking about it, if you weren't still waiting for all the right stars to align, how much further would you be if you would have started a year ago? That to me is the most powerful piece. If I reflect on that, I literally feel like I can't afford not to start today. Anything that I've been putting off, if I make any effort a year from now, where will I be? It would be impossible for me not to see some meaningful progress in the direction of the thing that I want if I just started. Doesn't matter if I have all the right information, tools, resources, all the answers. If I just start, where will I be in a year? So now let's talk about how to shift from waiting to taking action. So hopefully I've made my point clear that inaction doesn't yield results. But again, I get that it is a default mechanism. I understand because I'm guilty of it too. It's the human condition. We talk ourselves out of a lot of things. So how do we shift from waiting to taking action? How do we undo this? How do we unravel it so that we can get rid of that hesitation? The first piece is we should start before we feel ready. Let's just go ahead and set the expectation. Let's define what this is supposed to look and feel like. And I think that what it is supposed to be is us starting before you feel ready. No one, let me repeat myself, no one is ever fully ready for a big change. Whatever it is, the thing that you want to do, no one's ready. The people that you see that are doing it, the people crossing those finish lines that you wish you were crossing, that are posting on social media, that are, starting the business, getting the job, starting the family, building, taking the vacation, whatever it is that you feel like is out of your reach, no one's ready. So you got to start before you feel ready. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. I want you to think about this equation. If you want to do something different, if you want different results, then you have to take different action and you have to be someone different. So by design, the person that you are right now cannot accomplish the things that you want in the future. You have to be different. You have to do different things. So there's an inherent relationship here where as you continue to grow, as you set your sights on bigger things, as you want to not wait anymore, the things that you've been putting off, well, the person you are right now is not the person that you will be when you accomplish that goal. It's impossible. That's a different person. That person has different lived experiences. They have different learned experiences. You will have to accrue different skills and a different mindset, meet different people, and carry yourself differently. So that's not the person that's standing in front of you right now. It's not the person you see in the mirror. So I think when we understand that inherent relationship, it starts to break down what we tell ourselves about, oh, I'll be the person that I need to be, or I'll have the knowledge, or I'll have the... No, if you did, you would have accomplished it. If you have all those things, then you will have done it. Until then, it is impossible. You will not be that person. And so start before you're ready. Know that growth happens outside of your comfort zone, right? That's the relationship. And I just want you to start with some actionable piece. So think of one thing that you're delaying and do it today. Let's start small. Send an email, make the call, take the first step, sign up for the event. I want you to do one thing, right? It doesn't have to be a broad, overarching, sweeping change in your life. I think that's the other piece that holds us back, is that we feel like it's insurmountable. Do one thing. Reach out to the person that you've been putting off. Reaching out to, the email, the phone call, the person that has some more access than you do, that has some information about the job that you want. Call the bank if you want to start a business. Reach out to the person that can help you grow and scale the thing that you want to do. Just make the first step. Second piece is I want you to think about creating more than you consume. So again, we're talking about how to shift from waiting to taking action. So how do we actually make some meaningful change in the direction of the thing that we want? And a way to do that has been massively impactful for me is to just think about how can I create more than I consume. So many people stay in learning mode instead of doing mode. So I'm consuming if I'm learning. I need more information. Give me some more. Give me what can I, absolutely be prepared. But there's a point at which, again, action is the only thing that matters. Execution is the only thing that moves you forward. I want you to think about creating more than you consume. So how do I get into doing mode and less of learning mode? So if you're always reading, researching, watching, but not taking action, you're stuck in this passive learning mode. That's not going to get you anywhere. You're accruing some bullet points. You're accruing some data. But again, action is what leads to progress. It's what builds momentum. And so we want to move from learning mode to doing mode. We want to create more than we consume. The thing that I want you to think about for this, the small action that you can take is that for every hour that you spend consuming information, I want you to spend an hour applying it. So for every hour that you spend researching how to build a business, I want you to go try to get some customers. I want you to understand who your people are at. Where are they at? For every hour that you spend researching training online, researching how to prepare for an event, I want you to get out and train. I want you to go for the run, take the bike ride, start. It doesn't matter what shape you're in. For every hour that you spend researching the perfect job or where you want to work, I want you to reach out to people that can move you closer to those jobs. Right? Build connections, build community. So, right, keep that ratio 1-to-1. By all means, be prepared, but also be prepared to take action. So for every hour you spend consuming, I want you to spend an hour applying. This is going to dramatically change how you feel about progress and the actual things that you see moving in your life when you shift from purely a creation mode to or purely a consuming mode to a creating mode. Next, way to shift, I want you to put yourself in the right rooms. This has been my primary focus this year. This has been the thing that I have doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on. Is I want you to surround yourself with people who challenge and push you forward. What I have found is that when we are in this passive mode, when we're not taking action, when we're waiting for the right time, we also surround ourselves with people that support that mindset. We put people around us that keep us safe, that tell us it's right. Yeah, hold back. Wait till it's the right season. Now's not the time. You're super busy. Or surround yourself with people that challenge you and push you forward. This has been the primary piece of the puzzle for our work with TEC and the Growth Circle Accelerator is when you're around people that are moving forward, what happens? You move forward. When you're sitting alone in your home office or you're talking to people that are also pulling you back, what are you going to do? You're going to conform to that mindset. Action begets action. Right? So surround yourself with people that push you forward. If you're not around high achievers, you're just going to stay in your comfort zone. You can't see what's possible. There's been all these studies, and I'm sure so many of you have heard this, but proximity studies with high achievers. If you're within 20 feet of a high achiever, you're more than twice as likely to reach your goal. You don't have to talk to the person. You just have to be in literally the same room, across the room, on opposite sides of the room, and your likelihood of success skyrockets. So what I want you to do, I want you to find a group. I want you to find a mentor, accountability partner that keeps you moving forward. I want you to actively ask yourself the question, is this person going to challenge me and push me forward? Is this a safety relationship, or am I actively looking to be pushed? I want you to be pushed. I want you to find a group, the mentor, the person, the one-on-one, the accountability partner that's going to ask hard questions. Are you doing the work? Are you showing up? Did you send the email? Did you make the call? Did you sign up for the race? What are you doing this week? Are you making progress? Are you taking action, or are you just trying to consume? Right? So put yourself in the right rooms. Again, this is massive. This is the thing that for me, I know moves the needle. This is where I spend a tremendous amount of my time. Where are the right rooms and how can I get in them? I get on a plane, I get in a car, I get in a bus. I don't care. I want to be in the right rooms. And the next, I want you to commit to consistency. So success is built on small, consistent actions. Again, like I said, one of the things that holds us back oftentimes is that we feel like it's this insurmountable thing to move forward. No, what's the one action we can take? Now, I've given you small action steps for each of these things in hopes that it makes it feel more consumable and more doable. Again, it's not a broad, overarching, sweeping change to your life. Small things. But I want you to commit to those small things and recognize that success is really built on small, consistent actions. So just like one workout isn't going to change your health, one blog post isn't going to make you famous, one networking event's not going to transform your career, the sum total of those things will transform you, right? One workout isn't going to change anything. A week of workouts isn't going to change anything, but a year of workouts, you will be a totally different person, right? One blog post, probably not. Do that for a year, watch what happens. Watch how your network grows. Watch who you impact. Watch the voice that you get to refine. So daily and weekly actions compounded over time. That's what I want you to focus on. And focus on what you can come back to. What is realistic for you to be consistent at? This is the other thing, right? We start to do things that we know we're not going to be able to stick with. I'm going to write a blog post every day. Are you? Is that realistic? I'd rather you focus on small, consistent actions, a blog post every week or month, or from a training perspective, I'm going to work out every day. Is that realistic? I'd rather you have 3 great workouts a week and do that every week for the next year than set yourself up for failure. So I want you to decide on one small habit. Here's the action step you can take. Decide on one small habit that you'll commit to every day, no matter what, in the direction of your goals. What's one thing you can do every day? And just do it. Commit to it. What's repeatable? Again, commitment to consistency. Success is built on small building blocks stacked over time. No such thing as overnight success. Just focus on compounding consistency. All right, so we talked about what gets in our way. I just gave you 4 extremely actionable things to undo that, right? Ways that you can start to move, why it matters, things that you can do, consistent actions you can take. And so now I want you to really commit to this. I want you to stop waiting and I want you to start moving. I truly, truly hope that you walk away from this podcast and the next thing you do is take some action in the direction of the thing that you want, the goal that's out there, the thing that you've been putting off. Success comes to those that take action. You are not going to get any closer to what you want by putting it off. Right? I want you to think about who's the person you talked to last year. They're like, yeah, it's a good idea, but not now. Yeah, maybe, but when I'm here, when I get to, what's happened? Where are you at? How much further along would you be if you just would have started? Right? You would have engaged. I bet it would be dramatically different. So again, success comes to those who take action. The people who achieve their goals aren't the ones that waited for the perfect moment. They're the ones that took action, even when, and especially when, they felt uncertain. No such thing as the right season. You're never going to have all the answers. Again, there's a juxtaposition there. By design, there is no world in which you will have all the right answers for the person you want to be in the future. You got to become that person. You got to engage. You got to take action. So I want you to ask yourself, again, my hope is that you walk away from listening to this podcast and you do something immediately. So I want you to ask yourself, what have you been waiting to start? What's the thing that you've been putting off? Right? The opportunity to grow your business, the opportunity to transform your body. the opportunity to build relationships, to have better friendships, to take the trip, the whatever it is, the upgrade that you're looking for, what have you been waiting to start? Then I want you to ask yourself, what action can you take today to move forward? What's the one thing? Where can you show up consistently to start to move in that direction? And then I want you to ask yourself, where can I show up that I haven't been? I want you to put yourself in some different rooms. The people and the places that you've been showing up for and in might need to change. And I'm not saying you get rid of your friends, but I'm saying that you need to put yourself in some different rooms. You need to put yourself in some different conversations if you're not getting the results that you want. So, final thought, what I'm going to leave you with is just, I want you to know that the perfect time will never come. The best time to start is now, truly. Because next season is something else. You're always going to be busy. You're always going to have a million things on your to-do list. You're always going to need to train harder to prepare. You're always, right, whatever it is, the perfect time will never come. The best time to start is now. So no more waiting, right? Let's go. Let's make a move. You're no longer stuck because I've just given you, again, actionable, clear guidelines on what it takes to move forward. And I hope that I've made the picture so crystal clear that you can't talk yourself back into waiting. You can't talk yourself back into not taking action. You got to go for it because now you recognize that truly is all that matters. Right? So we're not going to wait anymore. And as always, when you take action, when this podcast episode inspires you, you actually do something, you show up in the different room, you understand what you've been putting off, you know that the best time to start is now and you're over waiting. When that happens, I want you to leave a review for this podcast. I want you to rate it. I want you to subscribe to it. I want you to share it with a friend. I want you to think of one other person that you've talked to that's waiting. I know we all have one. Again, everybody's dealing with some version of this. What's the last conversation you had where someone was on the fence? They're kind of hemming and hawing. They don't know. I want you to send this to them. And I want you to tell them that, hey, now is the time to start. Right? Listen to this podcast. Take some action. Pick one thing that you can do to actually move yourself forward. So again, I want you to rate it. I want you to subscribe because I genuinely love this community and I want to provide as much value as possible. So I don't want you to miss a single episode that's coming. And I want you to send this episode to a friend that you know is waiting to take action. And you're ready to help them change that and actually see this as the time that they move forward. So, as always, I hope this was helpful. Hope you got a tremendous amount out of it. If we can share in your success, let us know at enduranceminded.com. Scroll to the bottom, leave us a comment. We would love to engage with you there. And until then, we will see you next time on Endurance Minded.